I won't say no. I don't want to say no. I want to keep going.
American Restoration was one of the most fascinating shows on the History Channel, all thanks to Rick Dale and his family. Rick was with the show from the very beginning, but then everything came crashing down when Rick disappeared from the show entirely.
Get on American Restoration website and tell them how you feel too.
His store was shut down, and that was pretty much the end of American Restoration. But what happened, and why did Rick disappear so suddenly? From social media drama to rumors about money issues, the story of Rick and American Restoration will leave you speechless. When American Restoration first debuted on the History Channel, it primarily focused on Rick, his wife Kelly, and their humble store. A typical episode would walk you through whatever latest artifact they were working on and the delicate, precise steps they would take to make it look brand new again. The show was very quickly a huge hit with the History Channel viewers. Everyone wanted to get a closer look at what was going on in the shop, and perhaps more importantly, what was going on behind the scenes in Rick's life. Before too long, episodes started to focus on Rick's growing business and the impact that the success was having on his once small shop. The show also turned its cameras on the new employees Rick had to hire to keep up with all the demand, as well as members of his extended family. In reality TV, the belief is always that more characters, the better. The characters often lead to more drama, which is exactly what reality TV wants to capture and what audience wants to see. Once Rick was gone, however, the premise of the show dramatically changed. It went from being about one restoration shop to everyone involved to something much different. Suddenly, the description of the show read that American Restoration follows the best restoration shops, plural, in the United States, and how they restore pieces of America's history of all shapes and sizes to create awe-inspiring results. But what happened to Rick and his crew? Usually when the History Channel has something good, they hold on to it and try to change nothing. Just look at Pawn Stars, which has been on the air for over 250 episodes. For the first 6 seasons of American Restoration, viewers were tuning in for more than just antiques becoming new and shiny again. Fans of the series were enamored with Rick Dale for both his skills and his personality. They felt like they got to know him and his family more with every episode, watching him restore antiques alongside his wife and team. But something pretty weird happened with season 6. It ended suddenly with no warning after only 3 episodes. That's pretty weird. Then when American Restoration came back on air for the 7th season in 2016, that was when the dramatic shift happened. Viewers expecting to see Rick and his family got 5 different specialized shops instead. But unlike what the premise promised, these weren't restoration shops all across America. Instead, these new stores were located in the same geographic location in Las Vegas where Rick's restoration was previously at. That indicated to anyone paying attention that not only would Rick not be appearing on the season, but his store appeared to have been closed. And the store wasn't just temporarily shut down, but permanently closed for good. The show said nothing about Rick's sudden departure, but Rick decided to not leave people in the dark about what was going on, or at least not totally in the dark. Rick went on his social media channels and decided to ask something of the fans who'd been enjoying his work for so long. Rick made a plea for people to hit the streets, start conveying, and demand his return to the popular show. But the producers had other ideas in mind. Instead of listening to the fans who were supporting Rick, they went right on ahead with a new season that completely cut him out of the picture. This model turned out to be unsuccessful, and season 7 was the final season of American Restoration. But the question still remains, why was Rick no longer with the show? We have one big clue, and that's the fact that he has people on social media to help him get the job back. If it was a situation where Rick no longer wanted to be a part of it or wanted to focus on other areas of his life, it's safe to say he wouldn't have been reaching out to strangers on the internet for that kind of help. And the fact that he was making all that noise while his shop was essentially closed forever is also pretty weird, because he didn't ask for his shop back, just to return to the show. For someone who seemed like a down-to-earth guy who didn't much care for any kind of fancy Hollywood spotlight, Rick was really clean to the little bit of reality TV fame. For reasons we don't know, neither the History Channel nor Rick have released any kind of statement. More specifically, they haven't revealed if Rick was fired. But like I said, we kind of put the pieces together. And the fact that the final season only had 3 episodes, then abruptly ended with no explanation, also speaks volumes. If it was a friendly parting of ways, both parties would have probably agreed to produce more than 3 episodes, especially when you've been on the air that long. Usually you want to do a proper send-off, not just for fans, but also for the cast and crew of the show to feel like they got closure on the significant chapter of their life. But there is one particular juicy rumor floating around about what really happened. Allegedly, Rick got fired over an argument with the producer. Apparently they weren't seeing eye to eye on something, and the disagreement escalated. Now, we don't know what they were arguing about, but I'm guessing it was money. Rick probably saw dollar signs in his eyes considering how popular the show was and how cheap it was to produce. After all, the only thing the History Channel had to do was bring their cameras and watch Rick work. So really, Rick was working 2 jobs at once, and I'm sure he wasn't getting paid very much at all. And when he very likely demanded more money, the History Channel probably told him that he was replaceable. After all, Rick's not the only person in the world who can restore antique. In a profession almost as old as the items he works on, the tension allegedly escalated to the point where the producers decided to fire Rick in the middle of the season, or at the very beginning after just 3 episodes. But if this really was about money, Rick really needs to learn how to negotiate better, because you never make us think about your pay when you're in the middle of a contract. He should have gotten some negotiation tips from his friend Rick Harrison on Pawn Stars. With Rick no longer on the show, it's really not surprising that the series itself came to an end after the subsequent season. While some people have been tuning in to watch Antiques get restored, the real reason so many loved the show was Rick's personality, as well as his relationship with his wife, family, and crew. Once they were gone, they were basically left watching a bunch of strangers fix up antiques, which is a little interesting, but not interesting enough to keep viewers engaged, especially when they could sense something sad and a little shady went on behind the scenes. And with Rick's social media plea, people may have even felt like watching the new version would be a betrayal. Simply put, the show just lost its magic. The ratings plummeted, and the decision to cancel the show altogether was probably quicker than the one to fire Rick in the first place. But don't worry about Rick, he seems to be doing just fine. His physical store in Las Vegas may have shut down, but his website is still very active. Rick has shied away from the spotlight on social media, but his wife, Kelly, has an Instagram account with him. Kelly has a real estate business in the booming area of Las Vegas, and she seems to be doing great. Every now and then, Kelly shares a glimpse of Rick working or generally living, and the two seem happy, so that's all that matters. They're getting into their golden years as a couple and seem to really be enjoying this quiet life, especially without all the History Channel cameras running around. I'm just glad we got 5 great seasons with Rick and his family and 3 seasons of one really weird season. But anyway, what do you guys think? Was Rick Dale fired from American Restoration? And do you think he was fired over money? Let me know in the comments below.